History demonstrates that when central power weakens, local forces seize the vacuum. Stability is often purchased, not imposed. The modern Chechen Republic serves as a stark illustration of this enduring political equation. Following centuries of conflict against the Russian Empire and decades of Soviet repression, Chechnya attempted to claim its own sovereignty in the 1990s. The result was not a free nation, but a brutal, destabilizing cycle of war and collapse. Two devastating conflicts ensued. Wars fought not over ideology, but over the fundamental question of territorial control. What emerged from the scorched earth of the North Caucasus was a unique arrangement, a sovereign state outsourcing its own federal authority. Moscow accepted a bargain of conditional loyalty. In exchange for pacification, stability, and guaranteed adherence to the Russian Federation, a single family was granted near absolute control. They were given autonomy, impunity, and massive federal resources to construct a totalitarian state within a state. This system is the Kadyrov Dynasty. It is less an alliance and more a highly regulated feudal arrangement, financed by the Kremlin and enforced by fear.
The existing order was defined by failure. After the First Chechen War ended in 1996, Moscow withdrew, leaving behind a de facto independent state. That independence rapidly collapsed under the weight of internal disorder. Secular nationalism, the movement that had powered the initial push for freedom, was supplanted by pervasive criminality, economic devastation, and the rise of radical Islamism. Foreign jihadist fighters moved in, and local warlords focused on kidnapping and power consolidation. The fragile republic quickly descended into chaos. This instability threatened not only the Chechen people, but the entire volatile North Caucasus region, presenting a critical security weakness on Russia's southern border. The Second Chechen War, launched in 1999, was framed by the Kremlin as necessary to restore order and root out terrorism. It was during this brutal, renewed conflict that a pivot took place, a strategic decision that would irrevocably alter the course of Chechen politics and Russian security policy. Moscow needed a powerful local intermediary, someone capable of fighting Chechens with Chechens. The system required a collaborator.
The central actor who emerged from this disorder was Akhmad Kadyrov. He was not always Moscow's man. During the First War, Kadyrov served as the Grand Mufti of the separatist state, calling for holy war against Russia. But he grew disillusioned by the rise of radical Wahhabism and the increasing brutality of the warlords. In 1999, Kadyrov made a critical calculation. Stability under Moscow was preferable to chaos under foreign-backed extremists. He defected, leveraging his influence as a religious authority to join the Russian side. This defection was the foundation of the Kadyrov Dynasty. Vladimir Putin accepted the gamble. Kadyrov was appointed head of the republic, tasked with restoring order by granting amnesty to separatist fighters who would switch loyalty. Kadyrov understood the structural constraints of the region. Loyalty had to be personal, not institutional. He began building local security detachments, the precursors to the Kadyrovtsy, ensuring their primary allegiance was to his family, not the distant federal center.
The bargain was sealed in blood. In May 2004, a bomb detonated beneath the VIP stand at a Victory Day celebration in Grozny, killing Akhmad Kadyrov. This sudden, violent vacuum created a dangerous opportunity for renewed instability. Moscow's project was instantly jeopardized. Ramzan Kadyrov, Akhmad's younger son, was immediately groomed as the successor. The son's motivation was shaped by his environment, survival, vengeance, and the complete consolidation of the family's power. Since he was below the legal age requirement of 30, a period of careful ascent followed,
guided by Moscow's tacit approval. Ramzan used this time to rapidly expand the Kadyrovtsy. While officially integrated into the federal structure as units of the Russian National Guard, their functional loyalty remained purely personal. They became the backbone of the new system, funded by billions in federal subsidies, channeled directly through the Kadyrov regime. This money was not merely for state upkeep, it was the lifeblood used to buy, coerce, and guarantee stability in a region weary of war.
By 2007, Ramzan Kadyrov was formally appointed head of the Chechen Republic. The true test of his power was not his ability to govern, but his capacity for decisive, extra-legal action, and Moscow's willingness to tolerate it. The critical confrontation came not on a battlefield, but in the political theater of Moscow itself. In 2015, opposition politician Boris Nemtsov was assassinated steps from the Kremlin. The perpetrators convicted were Chechen-born men connected to Kadyrov's security apparatus. The signal was unmistakable. Kadyrov's forces were capable of projecting violence deep into the Russian core. Ramzan solidified his unique position through outright defiance. He issued a public order allowing his security forces to open fire on unauthorized Russian federal troops operating in Chechnya. This was not submission, it was the assertion of military monopoly. Moscow tacitly accepted the humiliation. Kadyrov had succeeded in establishing conditional loyalty. His stability was so essential that the Kremlin had to surrender its monopoly on the use of force inside its own federal subject.
The resolution of this phase cemented the status of Chechnya as a state within a state. Kadyrov delivered stability, but at a profound cost to law and human rights. His regime implements a hybrid governance system, blending political authoritarianism with selective elements of Sharia and Chechen tradition, used to supplant radical ideologies while bolstering personal legitimacy. This led to extreme social control, mandatory headscarves for women, bans on specific music tempos, and widespread systemic abuses, including the documented persecution and torture of the LGBT community starting in 2017. Moscow provides the cash flow, estimated to be well over 90% of the republic's budget, underwriting both essential services and monumental projects like the enormous Shali Mosque. In return for these billions, Kadyrov offers his personal army, the Kadyrovtsy, deployed in conflicts outside Chechnya, including Syria and Ukraine, acting as Putin's loyal external force with plausible deniability. The arrangement created a zone of absolute power, insulated from the rule of law.
The system Kadyrov built is successful only as long as two conditions hold: that Moscow continues to pay the massive financial price, and that the ultimate guarantor, Vladimir Putin, remains in power. Succession remains the great unresolved question. The system relies on Ramzan Kadyrov's personal magnetism and fear. If Kadyrov were suddenly removed, the loyalty of the Kadyrovtsy command structure could fragment, risking a descent into chaos and clan rivalry. Should Moscow ever choose to withdraw the essential subsidies, the personal army could turn against the Kadyrov family. Chechnya demonstrates that power structures are inherently fragile when built on personal bargains rather than robust institutions. The stabilization achieved by the Kadyrov Dynasty is powerful but fundamentally conditional. It is a peace purchased by billions, sustained by impunity, and permanently shadowed by the possibility of renewed disorder. The cycle of conflict in the North Caucasus has not ended, it has simply been internalized.